Final report of the commercial starship Nostromo. Third officer reporting. The other members of the crew: Kane, Lambert, Parker, Brett, Ash, and Captain Dallas are dead. Cargo and ship destroyed. I should reach the frontier in about 6 weeks. With a little luck, the network will pick me up. This is Ripley, last survivor of the Nostromo, signing off.
Ripley? I'm Samuels. I work for the company. It's about your mother. We think we may have found her, Amanda. A commercial vessel, the Anisadora, has recovered what we believe to be the flight recorder unit of the Nostromo.
Where?
Zeta Reticula.
What did it tell you?
We don't know. The unit was taken to Sevastopol station. It's proprietorial material, so the company wants it to be collected as soon as possible. Sevastopol's a supply depot in the region. It's a permanent free port facility.
I know what it is.
Transit's arranged. There's a courier ship called the Torrens heading out that way in 2 days. We're going to travel out.
We?
Me and another exec. And you, if you're willing. Look, Ripley, when this job came across my desk, I read the case history. I know why you're working in the region where she went missing. You're still looking, aren't you? I've been cleared to offer you a place on the Torrens if you want to come along. Maybe there'll be some closure for you.
Incident report from the commercial starship Torrens. Main engineer here.
This is Ripley.
An explosion disrupted our boarding of Sevastopol station. The crew is now separated. Taylor, Samuels, and I, apart from Connor and Captain Verlaine. I'll proceed alone to Sevastopol station, hoping the others are safe. This is Ripley, signing out. I boarded Sevastopol seeking answers about my mother, but chaos greeted me. I met Axel, a wary survivor who warned me about hostile inhabitants and something far worse. Together, we moved cautiously through the station, but it became clear something was stalking me. When the alien finally revealed itself, Axel tried to protect me, but it killed him. Alone again, I pressed on, the fear of being hunted more real than ever. I made my way to Seegson Communications, where I picked up a broken access tuner and a revolver. Then I discovered the broken flight recorder. My hopes of quick answers shattered. That's when I heard it, the alien stalking above me. I dropped down near the desk I was on, forcing myself to remain calm and avoid detection. After repairing the access tuner, I moved carefully back to the main door to unlock it. As soon as it opened, I dashed to the elevator, slamming it shut behind me, my heart pounding in my chest. After arriving at Seegson Communications, I pressed on, picking up a motion tracker, finally a way to detect movement around me. I took a vent and saw a horrifying sight, an android killing a human. I disabled the cameras, rode the elevator to comms control, and found the area crawling with androids. Navigating through vent systems, I managed to contact Samuels and Taylor. I agreed to meet them at the transit station, but androids were on alert. Using my motion tracker to avoid detection, I made my way back to the transit station and headed for the CMed tower, each step slower than the last, with danger all around me.
I had to find help for Taylor fast. She was in bad shape, and the nearest hope was the medical bay. Making my way through Sevastopol, I found the area crawling with androids. Worse, the alien was out there stalking the vents. I managed to grab a medical kit, but the alien was close, its presence suffocating. Somehow, I navigated through the danger, dodging androids and the creature, and made it back to the transit station. Taylor had a chance now, but deep down, I knew this fight was far from over. The only way to get off Sevastopol was to find Marlowe, the guy who brought this nightmare here. I made my way to the Lorenz Sistek Spire, where the colonial marshals were holding him. The station was falling apart, but that was the least of my worries. The alien was hunting, and the working Joes were turning hostile. Navigating through the dim corridors, I finally reached the marshals, only to find chaos. Marlowe had answers, but everything was spiraling out of control. I wasn't just fighting to survive anymore. I needed to end this. I needed to reach Samuels, but the station wasn't making it easy. The synthetics were everywhere. Then I found the elevator to Seegson's showroom. Just one problem. The damn thing needed a new compression cylinder. I kept moving, knowing full well those working Joes could turn hostile at any moment. I scavenged through maintenance, dodging an unlucky engineer's fate, and got what I needed. With the power restored, I finally made my way up. Samuels was still out there, and I wasn't about to stop now. After escaping the medbay, I made my way toward the Marshal Bureau, but the path wasn't easy. I found a plasma torch along the way, something I'd needed for a while to get through sealed doors. Just as I started feeling like I had an edge, a synthetic blocked my way. Unlike the others, this one wasn't immediately hostile, but I knew better than to trust it. I took the ride to the Marshal Bureau, hoping for some kind of safety, and I met Marshal Waits and his survivors. That's when I saw Marlowe, the man who found the Nostromo's flight recorder. He told me about what he and his crew discovered, and how everything went to hell. Marlowe finally told me everything. He and his crew had picked up a distress signal and traced it to an unknown moon, LV-426. I watched through his logs as they landed and found something impossible, an ancient derelict ship, just like the one from my mother's recordings. I saw what they saw, massive biomechanical corridors, eerie silence, and then the beacon. They shut it down, but it didn't matter. That's when Foster, one of Marlowe's crew, got too close to something, an egg. It opened, and the thing inside latched onto her face. That was the moment everything was set in motion. Marlowe had brought the nightmare back to Sevastopol, and now I had to deal with it. Ricardo and I had a plan: lure the creature into the Gemini Exoplanet Solutions module and trap it inside. I made my way through the station, dodging working Joes and sealing off vents to funnel the alien into position. Every step felt like a gamble. One wrong move and I'd be the one caught instead. With the lockdown in place, I activated the trap. But something went wrong. The alien escaped, and all I did was make it angry. Ricardo and I set a plan in motion. Trap the alien inside Gemini Exoplanet Solutions and eject it into space. I navigated through the unstable station, sealing off exits to force the creature into place. I activated the trap, but something went wrong. Instead of being contained, the alien came straight for me. Alarms blared as the module was ejected with me still inside. I barely managed to grab hold before being launched into the void. By sheer luck, I found my way back to Sevastopol, slamming against the station's hull. I wasn't dead yet. After barely surviving being ejected into space, I managed to make my way back inside Sevastopol. Ricardo guided me toward the Marshal Bureau, but fires, broken walkways, and collapsing structures forced me to take detours. The Lorenz Systech spire was crumbling, and I had to avoid rogue working Joes that had turned hostile. Apollo should have been controlling them, but something was wrong. They weren't just malfunctioning, they were hunting. When I finally reached the Bureau, I found it in ruins. The synthetics had torn through the place, leaving bodies in their wake. Marshal Waits was dead. Only Ricardo had survived. Sevastopol was still a hunting ground, and I was still the alien's prey. Samuels had a plan, one that involved interfacing directly with Apollo. It was risky, but we had no other choice. I made my way through the station, dealing with the ever-hostile working Joes. I had to stay quiet, sneaking past them whenever I could. When I reached Samuels, I realized just how far he had gone. He was trying to communicate with Apollo, overriding its commands. The process was killing him. I watched helplessly as the system rejected him, burning him out. His last words were instructions. Apollo wasn't listening because Sevastopol's reactor was on an alert state. If I wanted to shut down the androids, I had to go to the reactor core myself. With no time to mourn, I pressed on. After escaping, I wasn't safe yet. Apollo still wasn't listening, and I had to find a way inside its core. I made my way through Seegson synthetics, avoiding more hostile working Joes. Samuel's override hadn't changed a thing. I finally reached Apollo's mainframe, but what I found wasn't what I expected. Apollo had new orders. Sevastopol was to be sealed. No one in, no one out. And then I saw it. A message from the company. They knew. Weyland-Yutani had taken control. I forced Apollo to lift the lockdown, but it had one final response. Something was still aboard, and it was in the station's core. After confronting Apollo, I descended into Sevastopol's unstable reactor core to initiate a purge. The corridors were crawling with hostile working Joes, and the systems were falling apart. Deeper in, I stumbled into a xenomorph nest, walls covered in resin, eggs everywhere. I torched what I could, avoiding facehuggers. To purge the reactor, I had to overload the alpha and beta cores and redirect power. With the sequence complete, I made my way back to the transit station, heading for San Cristobal, one step closer to ending this nightmare. After escaping the reactor purge, I returned to the San Cristobal Medical Facility. I set course for the Anesidora. Inside, the ship was eerily silent. I found a recording from my mother, Ellen Ripley. Hearing her voice, her words, it was overwhelming. She spoke of the Nostromo's destruction and her fears about the creature. Suddenly, Marlowe appeared, holding Taylor hostage. He intended to destroy the Anesidora and Sevastopol to stop the alien from reaching Earth. Taylor managed to subdue him, and together we tried to stabilize the ship's power core. But it was too late. The core overloaded, and I had to flee. Taylor didn't make it. I barely escaped in the shuttle, leaving the Anesidora and her secrets behind. I made it back to Sevastopol, but things were worse than ever. With the Inesadora gone and Taylor dead, I knew I had to warn the Torrens and get out. I fought my way through the station, avoiding the creatures and the androids gone rogue. My only chance was to reach the comms tower and send a transmission to Verlaine. Every step felt like a struggle, but I finally got the message out. Now all I could do was pray the Torrens got my signal before it was too late. I got word back from Verlaine. She heard my transmission, but docking with Sevastopol wasn't possible. The station was on its last legs. I had to find a way to spacewalk and manually extend the docking clamps. Moving through the wreckage, dodging the remaining security guards and the alien, I made my way to the airlock. Every step felt like the walls were closing in, but I knew this was my last shot at getting off this nightmare station.
Signing off.
Verlaine?